Yesterday, Jimmy Dore was on Tucker Carlson's show. And first of all, I find this to be a fantastic interview. And Jimmy Dore breaks down really what's going on in regards towards wokeness, warmongering in the Democratic Party, and overall just how this entire election cycle has been one big epic disaster. So first, I want to just play this short video from the Jimmy Dore Tucker Carlson interview, in which they break down about the lesser of two evils. Because hey, nothing's better than voting for the lesser of two evils because you're still voting for evil. We've learned nothing from 2016 and 2020. Well, correction, all of us have learned something. The rest of the corporate media, two-party system, and those who are hypnotized and voting for Team Red and Team Blue, please wake up. Wake up from the Matrix. Please wake up. It would be ever so nice.
But those are the same people who can turn their head at the genocide happening in Palestine and say things. I mean, I would turn to people who I liberal their whole life. And I'm like, so you stand with the people of Palestine, right? And they're like, Kamala's not the president of the Middle East. They'll say things like that. And I'm like, what? But she is funding it. And it's like, well, Trump is going to be worse. What is he going to do? Dig up the dead babies and kill them again? If Trump is worse, then we deal with Trump when that happens. But right now, you cannot reward what the Democratic administration is doing, what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. You cannot reward them with your vote. You have to make them pay a price. You have to influence them, and that's why now every Muslim mayor in Michigan came out and I'm pretty sure just endorsed Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna wag your finger at those people. I've seen people priority. They go, well, Trump's going to go house to house. I work with immigrants, and Trump's going to go house to house and kick them out. And I'm like, so you're prioritizing the immigration status of migrants over the literal slaughter of Palestinian children. That's morally repugnant. And as Thomas Frank said in Listen Liberal, that when you listen to these people moralize, it's stomach churning, and that is stomach. It's like you're just bending yourself in a press. There's no red line. I have a red line. My red line is genocide. And, Kamala Harris could come get my vote. If she said, hey, you know what? I'm not going to fund Israel anymore. That's their problem, or something. She won't do it. And so if you're willing to go along with that, there's no doubt you're not voting for a lesser evil. You're just voting for straight up evil, and you're doing mental gymnastics to make yourself feel better about it.
Now, here's my takeaway. I've been having these conversations with a lot of my friends. Thankfully, it hasn't gotten too heated. It's not like how it was in 2016. But there is something fascinating happening. And this is just only my experience. I'm not going to speak for anybody else. But I'm seeing even those who voted for Hillary Clinton, and even Biden now, having such severe doubts in Kamala, and overall the shock of different demographics that are, or now they are in shock. They are in shock, to be more precise, that there are different demographics that are considering supporting or voting for or full on supporting Donald Trump or voting third party and independent. And so, maybe we all have had these conversations where somebody is waking up and realizing that the lesser two evils has got us here. See, there's a problem when you vote for the lesser of two evils. You are still continuing on with the evil that's happening, but you're not feeling it. It's like the frog that's put into a cold pot of water and it's slowly being boiled. It's not realizing it's going to be boiled alive. Now, see, if you had a boiling pot of water, you bring that to the frog, that frog ain't going to jump in it. Common sense. I mean, you have to consider that. But this is an issue that we are seeing with the entire political system in this country. There are a lot of people who are right now trying to come to terms with overall the Democratic Party and how it has allowed this. And I've played this video twice already on the show where you have Muslim leaders at a Trump rally endorsing Trump. Now, do I see Trump improving the lives of working class citizens? Do I see Trump bringing peace in our time? No. Maybe he could pull it off and maybe he won't. I mean, in an ideal world, I want all our leaders to succeed, our politicians to succeed. See, I'm not going to be like Rush Limbaugh jumping on stage saying, oh, I want to see this president fail or this person fail, because they're in charge of the boat. But let's look at overall how the boat selects its captain. It still picks the worst of the worst. And those politicians that are Republican are friends with Democrats, and those politicians that are Democrats are friends with Republicans, and they take donations from the same groups that donate to both parties. Okay? It's all a sick club. It doesn't matter who sits on the throne because Goldman Sachs, the banks, everything, they're all going to have the final say. They're all going to be whispering in the ears of these sick politicians. Now, maybe we could witness peace in our time. Maybe we could witness a ceasefire. But, after this horrific crisis in Gaza that Biden, and yes, with Kamala as well, could have stopped. They could have, last I checked, they're the first and second in command of a global superpower, the United States of America. All right. We are the global superpower. We are the heavyweight champion. This isn't open for debate. But the fact that this administration has said zip in one whole year, hasn't done jack for one whole year, and yet they're surprised. And I've played numerous videos of activists and organizers and protesters interrupting and calling out Democrat lawmakers, because I remember a time, and I know people have corrected me on this, but hear me out. I remember a time when the Democratic Party at least ran on the concept of being anti-war. I know they're not anti-war. No need to type that. I understand it. But there was that idea. But now we're seeing the same liberal audience who says they care about people. They care about social issues. They care about the whole thing. And the thing is, you don't care about it, liberals. You don't. Because what do we see these liberals do? We see them telling these activists and organizers to shut up. To shut up. And you wonder why you're panicking. And there are so many liberals right now having a meltdown about this. And I just wanted to play that short clip from the Jimmy Dore Tucker Carlson interview. You could check out the full thing in its entirety on Tucker Carlson's platform. But this is a sign of things to come in regards to how this election could impact our political infrastructure, politics in this country. Many Americans are burnt out by electoral politics. I mean, it's fair enough to say that. I don't know how the election night will turn out. I still think it's 50-50. But to the Democrat voters out there, even if you do win, it'll be by such a thin margin that it's nothing to celebrate about. It's a sign that your party is losing its base. In my city, I am witnessing Black communities step up and call out and challenge traditional Democratic leadership and the Democratic machine. This has never happened. My family's been living in this city for 4 generations under the Democrat machine. Near invincible. Having absolute power. Myself and my colleague Daniel have done stories about Chicago politics and corruption. And now we're witnessing the traditional voting bases here in this city break away. And if we look at this country, in every single state, we're seeing traditional Democrat voters break away, either considering voting for Trump, which to many liberals are still shell-shocked about, or voting third party or not voting at all. Lesser of two evils. You're still voting for evil. You're still voting for corruption. What matters is how we build forward. And my colleague, Misty Winston, Sarcasm Stardust, is correct. We're not going to vote our way out of it. Electoral politics won't save us. A politician won't save us. A political party won't save us. You want to know who's going to save us? It's got to be us. Because the minute we save ourselves, we can stop the madness and brutality happening in other countries too. We're all in this fight together. Lesser of two evils won't save us. We are the knights on the hill. We are the cavalry. We are the charge. We are the reinforcements. So the takeaway is don't give up. Stand for free speech. Electoral politics won't save us. We got to start saving ourselves. And that's what matters. After November 5th, that's the real fight. And that's something Hardlands Media believes in.
If you fool me once, it's because I didn't think a guard was needed. If you fool me twice, it's because I didn't learn the lesson, so it bears repeating. If you try the same play 3 times running, it's because you know what's coming, and you didn't come to lead, you came to purposefully be misleading. Democracy is dry. It's been a century bleeding. The husk is gaping open to the sky, out in the field where all the sheep just keep on circling and worrying and bleeding. They're waiting for the shepherd that they've tried to hide their faith in, but he's so appealing. They'd gladly give their fleece. It's such a freeing feeling that even when he leads them to the ledge and starts to urge them on, they're positively beaming. They were told that they were on their way to save democracy, so even as they plummet, they just gloat. They don't consider screaming. And halfway up the cliff, the shepherd's cozy little mittens wrap around the staff of shattered human hopes on which he's leaning. He shows the gentle grin that used to stir your inner spark, and he says, "Not me, us," as he gestures to the oligarchs. He knows that if he runs, they're going to stop him like a stolen car. And he'll easily surrender because it bought a lot of time for laying mines in all the grassroots. Suddenly, the tiniest of movements gets you blown apart. Suddenly, you're in a play that's set on an election day and voting for the fire, unaware you're playing Joan of Arc. Suddenly, the shepherd pulls the rug and slips a hood across your clueless mug, and everything goes zero dark. I'm gonna warn you once more before it's 2024 and you fuck around and find out who your heroes are. To take a step back from the herd, and you'll learn that you can spot who all the shearers are. If you really want to know the product that they're selling, I can take you where the mirrors are. If you think your voice is finally ready, I can tell you where the lyrics are. I hid them in a box I had to bury neath the cobble when they carpet bombed the promenade and raided all the street bazaars. Now all we've got's the marketplace, and you're too broke to even bother asking what the options for your treatment are. Suddenly, the raw debris of homeless human dignity will find it has 100 teeth for every badge and sweeper's arm. Suddenly, they speak in solidarity and each is armed. Suddenly, the sheep can see the shepherd for his truest form and all pitch in at once to help him buy the farm. And now it's zero dark, and all is calm and peaceful save the distant wail of sirens that approach beside the flames of dawn. Suddenly, the carrot's just a string that's on a stick, and all your movements make you sick because the prize is gone. Now, we could go and flee into the forest low and meek, or we can exercise our right to feast and go and graze on Biden's lawn. Because he's been sowing seeds that seep a toxin out to sap a bit from each of us and keep on leaching decades after Biden's gone. So regardless who they summon out of hell to come and do the job, it will not feel like Biden's gone. But in that time of hopelessness, you cannot trust the shepherd when he once again comes asking you to humor him his siren song. And it's cute that you can innocently, honestly assume that's just a symptom of a system that was wired wrong, and not the standard feature, basic function, primary objective of a mass hypnosis firebomb. You don't need to know the words to cry along. Someday it'll hit you like an officer who pistol whipped their ride along. Broke his jaw and kept his job and kept it moving right along. That voting isn't red or blue or black or white or right or wrong. Voting's like a firing squad where you can choose the firearm. It's slow extinction by and large. It's Super Tuesday supercharged. It's all your futures, roots and all, just tossed out on a garbage barge. It's everybody dropping out to push the biggest oligarch. It's everybody voting fire, registered as Joan of Arc.